Hello, AP Economics fans, here with a quick refresher on absolute and comparative advantage. Again, these concepts you're probably pretty familiar with, but it's been a while, so in case you need the refresher, here it is, and you'll see the quiz right beneath this. So I've got an example up here. We've got two countries, country A and country B, and the way we're going to phrase this, and remember they can do it two ways. The way I'm phrasing this is as follows. If the countries use the same amount of resources, how many drones or how many iPhones can they produce? Remember, sometimes they list it in terms of hours. Okay, to make one drone, it would take this many hours, and to make one iPhone, it would take this many hours. The way you do the math is a little bit different when they do it that way. More often than not, this is how you're going to see it. Using the same amount of resources. How many drones can country A make versus country B, and how many iPhones? So the two concepts we've got, of course, are absolute advantage and comparative advantage. Absolute advantage, remember, is very simple. It's who does it better. Well, this is going to be an easy one, right? So country A has the absolute advantage in drones because they make 20 drones versus country B's 4 drones. They're better at making drones. And country A also has the absolute advantage in iPhones because, as you can see, they can make 10 iPhones, whereas country B can only make 6 iPhones. So country A has the absolute advantage in both products. But that doesn't mean they have the comparative in both products. Remember, mathematically, you cannot have the comparative advantage in both products, okay? It doesn't make sense mathematically. You can't be better in that sense in both things. Comparative advantage, remember, means that you have a lower opportunity cost. So this is a little bit trickier because we have two steps involved. The first thing we have to do is figure out opportunity cost. Then we just ask the question, who has the lower opportunity cost? So we have a fancy rule that we use for this that we call other goes over. Okay, so let me walk you through it a step at a time. So remember, country A, the question is for them to make one drone, how many iPhones do they give up? Okay, to figure out how many iPhones they give up, so again, we know that to make 20 drones, they give up 10 iPhones, but we want to get it to a 1-to-1 ratio so that we can compare apples and apples between country A and country B. So we know that to make 20 they give up 10. The question is, how many do they give up to make one drone? Well, this is where we use our other goes over. So we're talking about drones. The other one, iPhones, goes over. So we would say 10 over 20, which of course equals 1/2 or 0.5, we'll say. Okay, so to make one drone, country A gives up 0.5 iPhones. Okay, running out of room there. All right, country B, okay, for them to make one drone, again, we're going to do the same process. We're going to do other goes over. Okay, to make one drone, they give up, to make 4 drones, they give up 6 iPhones. Other goes over. To give up one drone, they give up 1 1/2 iPhones, okay, or 1.5 iPhones. Okay, now, we know what they give up. We know what their opportunity cost is. Now that we know the opportunity cost, the question is who has the lower opportunity cost. And as you can see, country A gives up fewer iPhones, just 1/2 of one, compared to country B, which gives up 1 1/2 iPhones to make their drone. So country A has the comparative advantage in drones. Now, if you feel confident in that, you can be pretty sure that country B is going to have the comparative advantage in iPhones. But again, let me walk you through the process really quickly to make sure you get some practice with the math here. So for country A, the question is for them to make one iPhone. How many drones do they give up? So again, we're talking about iPhones now, so other goes over. 20 divided by 10, so they give up 2 drones to make their iPhone. And country B, okay, in order for them to make one iPhone, what do they give up? Again, same process. We're going to go other goes over. So we're going to do 4 over 6. 4 divided by 6 is 2/3. Drones, okay, 2/3 of a drone. And so country B has the comparative in making iPhones because they give up fewer drones. So again, always remember that rule, other goes over. It usually steers you in the right direction. If they give it to you in hours, in order to make a drone, it takes this many hours, or to make an iPhone, it makes this many hours, you can't use the other goes over. It doesn't work in that scenario. But when they phrase it this way, which is usually how they do it, that's how you do the math. You do other goes over, and that tells you your opportunity cost. Remember the definitions. Absolute advantage, you do it better. In this case, whoever makes more drones, more iPhones, country A both times. As far as comparative, it's who has the lower opportunity cost. okay? And so you gotta figure out that opportunity cost first. Whoever is lower, they have the comparative advantage. And then lastly, remember, you always wanna make your comparative advantage. You may or may not have the absolute advantage. That doesn't determine whether or not you wanna make it, okay? What matters most is, do you have the comparative advantage? That's the stuff you wanna make. All right, so take the quiz, and if you have any questions, let me know as always, and I'm hoping I'll see you back here sooner than later. See ya.